Okay, perhaps this is better now.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios, will be going in the dark pretty soon. All right, I just kind of ran in here late today. Lots of things going on, so let me adjust the microphonium. I think that will work. My name is Dennis. All right, see, okay, it's working. My name is Dennis, your net control operator for the Old Tube Radio Network here on your Class D Citizen Radio Service. Channel 11 is where we are at live, 27085 the frequency, and if you're doing some type of digital wackiness on the Universal Media Netweb, look for us at oldtuberadio.net, where there's a link to some sort of video that may or may not be happening at the moment. Thanks for joining us. We're here to promote the use and distribute information about old tube radios. This is not a club, just a voluntary association of people. You don't need to even have a radio to join in. But if you do, we'll be chatting with you after the roll call coming up. So stick around with us. All right, I'm going to try and use box control tonight. Before we go too far, let me see if there are any stations that would like to get checked in early. And for some reason, and I looked around, and Chet is off tonight. He's got some big meeting or something. He's got something going on, so he's always good at getting the paperwork filed. So I had to go find an older version. So if it's not updated, my apologies for that. Cue cards tonight. Who's that? It's Marge from accounting. Is doing the cue cards tonight, and you're doing a great job. And I think Chet will be back soon. So anyway, I know he was training. They were training all week on how to do the cards and everything. It looks very nice. Who needs an early check-in? OTR is listening.
24 checking in.
All right, 24, Joseph, we've got you checked in. Thanks for stopping by. Who is the other station?
195.
Up in beautiful and probably cold and windy and blustery. I don't know what's going on with the weather here. Up in coarse cold, Jim, we have you with an X in the square. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, sir.
Get 650.
And of course, the infamous 650 is present and called and X'd and all that stuff. Anybody else for an early check-in? The Old Tube Radio Network. I heard somebody there, but you didn't make my AGC. Try it again.
61, Dennis.
Hey, 61. Now, you're coming in good now. No problem. A 6 and a 1 from way, way out there. Got you checked in. No problem. There's the X in the square. Thanks, Dino.
Breaker.
Breaker. Go ahead. Over.
Good evening, Dennis. You got 53 checking in early. You're either late, I don't know.
I think you're, well, it depends. If you're checking in for next week, you're early. If you're checking in for last week, you are late. If you're checking in tonight, you're perfect. So we'll get an X in the square.
Thank you, sir. 73. Bye-bye.
Trying to make some adjustments here. All right, let's get started. I think I've got everything set up. I'm doing some electrical changes and some patches here. It looks like everything is possibly working okay. I can hear everybody great. Everybody's sounding perfect.
Yeah, if I check in early, can I still check in later?
Yeah, you can have, if you go through the drive-in window, you can actually get chicken to go. Over.
Perfect. I did some electrical changes, and I got you almost 5.9, which I've never had before.
Now, I was going to say, I thought for a minute that you were mobile here in town, so whatever you did is a good thing. Over.
The vertical went up about 12 or 14 feet, something like that. So, yeah, so far it's good.
No, it's good. Good full quieting signal. Audio sounds good, and you are checked in, perhaps to be checked in yet again.
There you go. Thanks, Dennis.
Okay, and I hear, oh, you know what, someone in the audience has their phone turned on, I think, and they've got the program, the net going on, so make sure you keep it down, because we are on a delay. We don't want to confuse anybody. Let's see, we are looking for, let's do 00, and the 00 is, who is the 00, because this isn't correct. Oh, it's 51. Jeff, I've got like a week's old chart here, and it hasn't been updated. So 51 may be around. Sometimes he gets early checked in. So let's get on, because I do want to check in the radios tonight. SWL1, of course, and I haven't looked at the chat window yet, and I'm not sure if Mr. OBP is around. But Kevin, we're getting you checked in. Hope you're having a good weekend. Over to SWL3. Somebody said Proxy and Rob. I will do that. I haven't seen a lot of activities. Usually he's posting things on Facebook, but I haven't seen anything lately. So he must be busy. Let's go to Levon, and I think I checked in briefly at Old Radio Night, and we will try that. Assuming they're on, I think they will be on. I think JT's feeling good tonight, so we may do a live check-in over there. SWL5 Levon, he's in there, saying happy weekend to all the items of interest out there. 5 from Hudson Valley, New York. We've got you checked in. Let's go over to Mr. Ed, SWL7.
SWL7, checking in.
All right, sounding good. I know I need to look at my live. I know what's throwing me off. I'm looking at the... like, well, those things already happened. Yeah, I was looking at the other little replay window, which is like 5 seconds behind, and I'm wondering, how could I be so slow? Ed, you're sounding good. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
Over to, jump up to, let's go out to Sanger for the ever-popular, the usually loud and well-modulated 982 Dirt Dog.
Proxy 982.
All right, a proxy for the Dirt Dog, which is easy to do. Don't go too far away. Stay by that microphone, because we're coming right back to you. SWL 10 and perhaps 30. What's going on in Idaho? They're going to have some extreme weather coming up. We're going to get it tomorrow, but I think it's already shooting through everybody up there. 11 and 12. That's Dapper Dan, and Dan, of course, checking in, looking dapper, feeling dapper. We got 11. We've got 12. I am both. I had a little trouble adjusting the tie, but other than that, the suit is here. The pocket protector is populated properly with perpendicular pens or something like that, and we're doing good. So Dan, Cornbread Dan and Dapper Dan, thanks for joining us this evening. I want to say hello to, before he scrolls off my screen, SWL 147, Neil out there in Kakalaki. On board, conditions are good till about 8:30. I came in very late, so when I turned on the radio item of interest, there was no skip whatsoever. That doesn't mean there won't be any coming in for the gray line, but I wasn't sure exactly what happened. There is all sorts of activity on the HF bands, because there's some, I don't even know what it's for, some contest going on, so it was almost better to show up here on 11 meters. So Neil, looking good. Temps about 70, 73. Wow. You're getting what we had, and I'm sure we're going to send some inclement weather your way. SWL 13, Mikey usually joins us somewhere on the oldtuberadio.net, or you can leave a comment. I think if you've got a Facebook, you can go to oldtuberadio.net and check yourself in. You don't have to have a number. Just tell us where you're at and what is going on. Not a problem. And 4 minutes. Okay, SWL 13 is there. I see you 4 minutes ago. We got an X in the square. Thanks. And a lot of people stopping by that page. And I think I got the proper updated link. I was late, so if it looks like the show is from last week, you're on the wrong link because it was my fault for putting it up late. Let's go out to Sangertown, SWL 14.
Yeah, 14 checking in, and also Proxy Dave if you don't hear from him when you call him. Yeah, I talked to him earlier and he said he was wiped out too, so thanks for checking me in, Dennis.
Okay, yeah, speaking of wiped out, we had a lot of our programmers and show hosts out this week at the FM station. I think they said whatever this flu thing going on has been the worst in 15 years. A lot of people down and out. So if you're not feeling good tonight, we'll get you checked in, or you can check in next week. We'll get you a proxy. Turn on the audio and listen in and do the chicken soup or whatever it is you're supposed to be doing, because whatever it is, it's going around and it is not good. 13 is in, 14 is in, where it's tomorrow and beyond, out in Copenhagen, Denmark. Alpha 173, Hans, do I see you on my screen? Have you scrolled past? I don't know. Sometimes he's right there. Right now, right? He's just like Motor Mouthball, right here, right now. Thank you for checking in. Hope everything is good, and I don't know if you're getting snow, what's going on there, but always enjoy having you stop by on our Saturday evening, your Sunday morning. Alpha 173. Also, it's different. I have to look on my chart. I don't know where the things went. I don't know. Marge is because he doesn't know. And Charlie, he looked around, didn't find it. Yeah, I probably ran out with them last week to do something, and then I didn't bring them back. So, and this is, I believe, the 7th week. So we got one more week before we redo the 00. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks for helping out with all that you do around here, because I would be in serious trouble if I didn't have assistance on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's go to SWL 17. SWL 18. Got a check-in for Mr. KDA on Facebook. Got a check-in, proxy check-in for 19. Chet is supposed to be back next week. Some type of official business. I don't know. I think he might work for the Secret Service or something. I don't know what he does a great job on cue cards, so we hope he can get back soon. Let's go over to the west side for SWL 20.
Well, number 20 here. Please check me in, 29 and 54. And we'll be back later on.
All right, very good. Sounding good. The radio is good tonight. We'll see what you got and any questions and comments that people have. Let me grab, while he's in my window, SWL 78 out in Wild Wildemar. And it was good to catch you on, where were we at, 40 meters? A couple nights ago? Or during the day? I can't remember. I guess it was during the day. You're beaconing in pretty good here into Central Valley. Hello to Frank D1 from Yellow Springs, Ohio, checking in. Thanks for joining us right here, right now on the Old Tube Radio Network. Fleck, can't pick up anything on channel 11 AM. Well, we are in the Central Valley of California, right in the center of the state, so unless you're kind of on a mountaintop looking down at us, or we're getting some E-skip or Big Skip, you probably won't hear us, but you can get in at oldtuberadio.net or somewhere ever. But thanks for joining us. The Old Tube Radio Network, we have been kind of hanging out Saturday evenings for almost 40 years now, checking in what I guess 40 years ago were newer radios. They were still old then, but now they're the really old radios. I see 007 Extreme CB broadcasting live from the RV alligator-infested alley. I saw that. He texted me a picture, and this was I would say it's cute, but I don't know if alligators can be cute. Sort of a pint-sized little gator with the snapping thing pointed the right way. So be careful out there. Make sure you're wearing the big boots. And maybe we'll catch you in Florida sometime coming up. Rusty Rails, greetings to OTR. Everyone thanking me to keep the show going. Well, it's a net. I don't know. The show starts later when we check in the radios, and then that's somebody else's responsibility. But I am honored to be in the air chair, one of many net controllers throughout the years, to make sure that we promote the use, as we say in the little paper, promote the use and distribute information about old tube radios on the Class D 11-meter citizen band radio service. I think that's what we're supposed to say. Let's go. Harvey checked in. Let me run over. I think I have the window open. Oh, it looks like it's still there. I'm going to bring the audio up out of old radio night, if I know how to do that here. And I'm waiting to hear something. It's very, very quiet over at old radio night. Let's pop the photo in, were I to have the proper view. No, that's the wrong one. And we'll see what's going on with old radio night with the Cobra 2000 GTL. Now that's a classic, right? And the Palomar reverse preamp on old radio night tonight. I got to find the right item here, and there it is.
SWL 21 in South Carolina. We're checking in.
183, South Carolina, checking in.
Good audio tonight. 27
Oh,
on.
not man, 953, South Carolina, we trying.
All right, South Carolina on channel 10, just south of us there, 21. You're gonna try that one again. Let me bring the audio up. Anyway, the guys are looking good. Nice picture tonight.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thank you guys. You can watch you'll be able to watch the replay. You guys checking in. Nice audio tonight. Love the Cobra 2000 on channel 10 down the road. I know the skip isn't in tonight, but that is going on now. Check them out. Old Radio Night on the Cobra GTL. Look for 21S.C. on your YouTube, on your U-Type 2. Checking something here. I think there's, yeah, okay. There was some echo stuff going on. Let me douse the audio from old Radio Night. It keeps turning on. I can't turn it off. JT has sabotaged my item here. All right, I think we're going now. The old Tube Radio Network. Let's go to SWL22. Tyler's up in Alaska. Got a proxy last week because we had such a good skip. We were hearing a lot of people. Let's go to shortwave listener 23. 23 Skidoo, who is probably battening down the hatches for whatever inclement, wacky weather that's coming in. Foxman 362. Looking good on the audio stream tonight. Scarecrow, did I fix the echo? Or you know what? Maybe no. Okay, no, it should be. I don't think I'm sending double audio. I could be. No, I think I was listening earlier. I'll have to do a QC audio check. I know that the receiver is not bad, but I did repatch a bunch of stuff, so it's possible I could be getting two separate feeds from two of the audio items, and that would sound like an echo for sure. SWL24, Joseph checked in moments ago. Over to SWL25.
Good evening, Dennis, and the rest of the OTR shortwave listeners out there. 25 checking in.
Sounding good, sir. I hope you can hear me tonight. All is well on this side of the big giraffe. Thanks for joining us, and I'll make sure I get 74 as well.
Roger. Thank you, Dennis.
The old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark, and there will be a few, I hope, when we do that after the roll call here tonight. Looking for SWL27. From up the road, up Mysterious Highway 99 for SWL28. Always like to know what is on the snack list tonight. Oh, also, 10 and 30, I see the dolphins, and there are many. I'm not going to count them. There may be 30 dolphins jumping. More than a partridge in a pear tree. 10 and 30. I hope the weather is behaving up there. I heard reports that it's going to start getting a little bit nasty up there, but that's not something we haven't done before. Gary, 28, checking in. He's ready for a really big show, as am I, enjoying some Dad's root beer and popcorn with a little chocolate syrup on top. Popcorn, I think I have that. I have chocolate syrup, I have popcorn. I've never tried both of them. I'm not a super big root beer fan, so I probably, although there might be some in the green room, I do not personally have root beer around, but I might try the chocolate popcorn. And if I get an upset stomach, Gary, we'll be talking to you. Thanks for checking in. Let's go to SWL29's got the proxy check in. SWL30, of course, right here, right now from up in Idaho. Over to SWL31, I saw a note to make sure that Robert and Teresa, SWL31, get checked in, and we're doing that right now. Over to SWL32. Shortwave listener 33, that's myself, and anybody else that wants to jump in. If you make it into the studio here, we get you checked in under 33. That's the number I've had since we've started. I don't know how I got that. Oh, I know, because how can I not figure it out? I know, I got that number because way back when, about, let's see, about well over 50 years ago, that was one of mine when they were doing a number. It was Manhattan 33. I was assigned that particular number because I was transmitting out of Southern California, Manhattan Beach, so I just picked up 33 and kept it because I can remember that. Sometimes you can't remember stuff, but I can remember the 33. I can't remember why I have it. Albert and the gang, UDX 256, one of the Squamish boys waving. I was on late last night. There's another SDR that was on. It is not close enough. The one out of Prince George is too far away, and there was another one. Boy, I tell you, they sure work. Prince George sure works great at night on 40 meters from here up that way, but for 11 meters, we definitely need that Squamish, BC Kiwi back. It's called a Kiwi SDR, and I don't know what happened to it, but if they can put it back up, we'll be in business, as they say. SWL 34, that is Jimmy, of course, in Railroader up near Batavia. Captain Chaos, Railroader, the gang up there will get all of them checked in. SWL 35, Red Monkey Communications, checking to see if we've got an item of interest for Mr. Bill. Don't see one yet, so we'll stand by for that. SWL 36, shortwave listener 37. Someone said you get a proxy check-in for Chris. He might be in a little bit later. We'll do that. Heading down the road to Byron. I don't know what, it's 100 miles away or so. Too far. It's over a hill to do any damage here on a straight shot to channel 11, but Sam will get you checked in. There's no skip. Sam sometimes he'll get a relay from Australia back here into Central California. Let's go to SWL 39. Awfully quiet here. Okay, gotta have a little noise on the receiver. Gotta let somebody know I'm out there. Let's go to Cotton Picker Control, SWL 40.
SWL, breaking the silence.
And doing a good job of it. You sound good. I hope there's no fires burning down in your neighborhood, and you've got you checked in.
Not this hour. Thanks.
Yeah, not right now. We just keep checking. Let's go to SWL 41, Road Dog 507. Of course, checking in and representing the Orange County React Hudson Valley, New York, and wishing everyone a good evening, and likewise out there to you. SWL 42, got a proxy for Jerry and the gang. They're saying get a little closer. Okay, we'll get closer to the microphone. There we go. SWL 43, Did we get a yes, we got a proxy for CE SWL44 up on the hills. I didn't hear him on last night. I don't think I did make the. I did make the Ditchbank sideband net. Also, hello radio checking in, Paul and Kelly. SWL45 listening from beautiful North Fork, where it's always nice weather, except when it isn't. just like everywhere, I think. Let's go to we skipped that one. SWL47. I heard Mike calling me on the crossband earlier, and I was not able to get to it in time. But if you're listening, Mike, I did hear you. We'll get you checked in. I was on the stream through the delay, and by the time I got back, I was like, oh, you was probably calling a minute ago. I was wondering, where is that guy? Hello, radio. Good evening to you. Mentioning that I am sounding much better tonight. Well, you know what? I have a new configuration, believe it or not, on the audio. I spent a lot of hours. We're doing some patch cables and things like that, so I will listen. I don't know what it sounds like. It could sound totally awful, but I'll listen to the replay and do some peeking and tweaking. I just got everything thrown together. So I have kind of a feeling that maybe the levels might be off a little bit. The REA meter looks good. The positive, negative peaks look good, so at least on the transmitter I might be doing better. Thanks for the good words on the audio. Let's go to SWL48. It's Sammy KP out of Madeira. I think he's checked in either Wednesday or Friday, so we'll get him checked in. How about Sweet Country Mama and Smitty, SWL49? And let's see, Albert. Oh, the SQR repeaters. See, I'm not using repeaters per se. I'm using a receiver, so it doesn't have a transmitter. My guess is if we did a link in to a repeater on IRLP and did a check-in for 11 meters, they would probably turn the repeater off. You never know. Echolink is a different story. That's sort of a private channel. There's kind of iffiness. You're not over the air. And the receiver, even though it may be connected with an amateur radio per se, or a receiver, is not a transmitter. So you don't have to be licensed to participate or get onto the receiver. But when you get on the repeater, in theory, you're supposed to be licensed, and you can be one way, so you'd end up having to say, we have third-party traffic. Let me tell you, it would be, there would be a lot of paperwork to shuffle around. But thanks, I'm going to keep that up. I'll look for that. Maybe I can jump in up there and see what's going on. Thanks for that information, and I've got it archived. Where are we going? We're going to SWL51. David Sanger, who's probably listening in. I got you in as 00 as well. SWL52.
52, he said, he did some parks on the air, so he was going to be out here.
Oh, very good. Yeah, there was a lot of parks on the air. I'm amazed. Sometimes I will hear them at 10, 11 at night. And thinking, what park are you freezing your microphonium off? Or very early in the morning, but they're usually coming from the East Coast, so it's probably, the sun is coming up. So that's cool. I'd like to chat with him about parks on the air and his radio setup and what he needs, and if he's running battery. It's a very cool and a very interesting aspect of a ham radio. If anybody's thinking about getting into this thing, ham radio, come on. But that's kind of a fun thing to do. You can do it when you can. You don't need a lot of big, heavy radios. You can run battery power. There's a little POTA, parks on the air, that's set up. We do a TOTA. Tubes on the air. That'll be coming up. We'll be checking in with Tony. Make sure he's set up for that. All right. Thanks for the 10.5 proxy check-in, Ron.
All righty. Yeah, no problem. I think he hit 5 parks. I think they were all in Merced County, kind of like around Los Banos area, and up there by the dam, San Luis Dam, and some the wildlife refuge out there. So, guess 5 or maybe more. I thought his goal was 8, but maybe he got 5. Alrighty. Take care. And I'll be waiting to check in there when you get around to me.
All right, very good. All the parks have designated numbers, and you can get points. I don't know. I don't get into it that much, but you activate your park number. So good that he knows that. And he is, and it's coming up. It's the 2nd, so he can tell us about not the 1st, but the 2nd Friday of March coming up. I believe 52. Aaron will be giving the talk at the Fresno Amateur Radio Club about all that kind of stuff, digital modes and high frequencies and super high frequencies. So I'm hoping I can make that. Friday is just a really tough day for me to do anything fun. Well, all right, thank you. Let's go to SWL 53. Oh, that's Mr. Belair, the legend. He checked in early. We've got a proxy check-in for 54. Let's head up the hill to SWL 55.
55, checking in, Dennis.
5-5. What's happening? Is the weather getting nasty up there?
Well, you sound really clear, but you're just a little low on the power, but the wind is kicking up, and that's about it.
Okay, yeah, it was the wind was kicking up here as well. And yeah, I've got, I had reduced power because I thought I was going to get some RF into something, but a couple of watts here, a couple of watts there, a bent antenna, and a pine tree might be in the way. You are sounding good, and we've got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis. It sounds like a Christmas carol.
Well, we'll have the jingle singers work on that one. Directed net roll call, the old tube radio network, real radios glowing in the dark. Stay tuned. Some of the classic glow-in-the-dark tube sets from the late 50s when the FCC said, you know what, let's make a 11-meter Class D service. And 1960s and the 1970s, and then there wasn't nothing. But we still have them here. It's 2025, and they will show up tonight, I guarantee it. Here's a station that had many. He's like in the top 5, I think, of all the people, top 10, top 5 of all the people I've checked in, or we've checked in on OTR for the last so many 30, 40 years. Phil ranks up in there with one of the best overall collections. SWL 56.
Just for kicks, Dennis.
Just for kicks and sounding good. Thanks for checking in. X in the square. SWL 57 out of Central Kentucky. See if Brown Dog Audio jumps in. I'm missing a question, Dave. I was watching a movie called White Line Fever on YouTube last night, and in one scene I saw a Johnson Messenger 323 sitting on a desk. All right, well, tonight you will probably hear the tube radio versions of that, the Messenger 1, Messenger 2, and the Johnson Messenger 223. Now, at that time, the late 60s, the early 70s, Johnson's was one of the first radio manufacturers that started making solid-state radios for people because you were supposed to have a base and a mobile. That's how you were supposed to talk on 11 meters. It's like, Unit 1 to Unit 2, pick up some bread on your way home. And so Johnson started making the very compact, the 323, the 123, and there was a couple others, I think. And, they'd been around a while making radios, so the 323 would make sense for being in that movie in 1975. It would have been a fairly, probably not a brand new radio for sure, but a fairly new radio from the late 60s and the early 70s. Let's go over to SWL 58. Did I hear 58? All right, I think it takes a while for his voice to get from Tennessee. We have a proxy check-in from Tennessee to California. SWL 59, Uncle Hairball is in. I know he's hanging around here somewhere. Oh, right there. Levels are good. Just a little echo, that's all. Yeah, oh, you know what? There could be, wait a minute, I might be able to, I forgot. Let's turn that down. The other thing is that the headphones might be bleeding, and there are two machines. I added an extra machine that's got latency, that L word, because it's got some digital processing going on. It's very possible I've got some audio leaking in, and it would bring an echo, so hopefully that's not too bad. And then I kicked down the lexicon, because I don't need that. That's more for production stuff, so thanks for that. SW, thank you, Uncle Hairball. SWL 60, hello, Joe.
Hello,
All right, all the radios are talking back to you, and you are checked in over. I'm making a wardrobe adjustment on the seersucker suit. I believe this was on sale at Sears back in the day when you could get a brand new Johnson Messenger 323 out of the box. And it still fits. Who would have thunk? Let's go to SWL 61. We got Dino checked in earlier over to SWL 62. Shortwave listener 63. SWL 64. You know, I didn't scroll my list up and see if possibly Craig or others have checked. I'll do that right now. Do a little. Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of things that I missed. I will be staying after class tonight and making sure everybody gets checked in. You know, Craig was the first one on the list. Checking in. All right, Craig, I see it. You were the first item of interest up on the list tonight. And there is Felix, SWL 91, requesting an early check-in, so I will get Felix as well. Felix never misses a Friday evening. SWL 31 from Hendersonville, I see you guys in there as well. Levon is in. Ben Hur, CBs, and Trucker says, hello, radios. Thanks for joining us, Ben Hur, CB, and Trucker Tips. Hans checking in. 21 was checking in. He might still be on. I should jump over to Old Radio Night, see what he's doing. Tony. Yeah, I think I had yeah, I see the Echo Link is up. Got a couple of stations in there. We'll jump in. Kurt, is Kurt make it? Yeah, Kurt made it. All right. You know what happened? I think I have a cross-connect problem when I'm checking out the Echo Link server, the TalkBack server. So I got to make sure I can do multiple connections. Except I've got two on right now, so I'm not sure what happens with that. Continuing roll call. Let's go over to SWL. No, we can't be there yet. SWL 65. SWL 66. SWL 67, that is Bill in Canby, Oregon, and he's checked in over at oldtuberadio.net. I see you, Bill, about an hour ago. Checking in. JT, of course, from the Wasama Swamps. I forgot about the world's longest ground rod featuring tonight. I think he's got more than one, too.
37.
And 37 jumping into the air chair, sounding good. Hello, Chris.
Oh, I'm just checking in real quick, if possible.
This is possible. The tubes are glowing. The microphonium is nigh, and we've got an X in the square. Over.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thanks for jumping by and saying hello, radio. We are on page 3, direct-to-net roll call, SWL 68. Shortwave listener 69. Kenny out of Tulsa jumped in earlier, and I think he's also at, checking in from Tulsa about 20, 30 minutes ago. Kenny sounding good, looking good. Miss you guys out here. Hope all is well. The station that checked in early to make sure that he could check in on time, SWL 70.
Hello, Dennis. 70 checking in on time, and thanks very much for doing the net. And yeah, man, I got you pretty much a 5.9, which I've never had before, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was looking at some trees. I had a little bit of tree trimming started, and they topped one of the pine trees here, and I'm thinking, I wonder if I get a little mast up there. That would like triple my height. All those stations that can't hear me at all might come in and want to play. Anyway, you sound good. The radio sounds great on the AM mode, and I've put the X. I put another X in the square. We've got two X's. Over.
Well, I can check in late and do a triple. But yeah, I raised the vertical about 12 or 14 feet this afternoon, so I'm definitely noticing difference. Hopefully you are.
Oh yeah, definitely much better. And there's certain places up near, is it Bass Lake, where I'm behind something. I have to be up much higher than I am. and then it works better. So, and I'm really low. So even if I get in at 20, if that same amount, 15 or 20 feet, a couple of things happen. One, you get over the obstructions, physical obstructions, and two, there's some type of a, what's the 27 megahertz wavelength? You know, what's that magic little 27, 33 feet, 35 feet from the ground where things start working better at a half wave or a full wave. So anyway, good stuff, sounding good. Thanks for joining us. And Dave, I don't think the 323 was a tube rig. I believe the 323 was a solid-state rig. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it was one of their mobile-style solid-state rigs to complement their 223 and the Messenger 2 and the Messenger 1. Those are the 3 tube rigs. Even the 250 was I think, a solid-state rig. We are calling SWL71 Stan, checking in. He might be doing the contest. I don't know what the contest is going on the bands. I've just been too busy to even check it, but hopefully you're getting a lot of points. SWL 72. Shortwave listener 73. Proxy for John, we can do that. Quebec Yankee 2, 190 kilohertz, part 15, from Niles, Michigan. All right, the summer project, looking good. There's the Kiwi. Is it up in Michigan? I think it works really well. It's a 9 call. Works really well at night on 40 meters. Yeah, there used to be one. QY2, there used to be one like right down the street from these guys. I could hear their conversations on AM. We would link it up. Pretty cool. But now it's a little bit far away. So we'll never see. We'll see. We'll check on that. There's one up in maybe it's Wisconsin that might be near your area. Let's go to SWL 74 for the proxy check-in. SWL 75 356 BYU. Hello, radio. SWL 76 out of Johnson, Rhode Island. Got a proxy check-in for a 1017-77. SWL 78 Wild Wildemar. Richard checked in a bit earlier. I'm thinking if I've got enough energy and that chocolate popcorn gives me some energy after the program here tonight, maybe I will try to get on 40 meters. But you know what? It's going to be maybe 75. I don't know. The band's going to be super long, so we'll see what happens. Sometimes you just kind of fall out of the air chair after the net. It's like, no, I don't want to get back on the radio. Let's go to SWL 79.
79, checking in.
79, sounding good. Good audio tonight. Thanks for joining us. SWL 80. Got to refresh my list here. Also, hello to Tracy, Sacramento, West Shoals, South Carolina, Plymouth, Minnesota, the unknown SWLs. You know who you are. I think a lot of people are either hiding because it's bad weather or doing something because it's good weather. So hopefully we'll have a couple of people checking in tonight. Sometimes when the weather starts getting good, you want to be out and have some fun. You can do it right here on the radio tonight with the Old Tube Radio Network, SWL 81. Out to the Ditchbanks for shortwave listener 82.
82, checking in from the Ditchbanks of Biola. Good evening, everybody. And a reminder here, I won't be on the Ditchbank sideband net for the next 2 Fridays. I got a wedding the first Friday, and then that second Friday, I plan on going to the Fresno Amateur Radio Club meeting to see the demonstration by SWL 52.
Yeah, we'll find out more about that for next week, right? We got another week for that, so it should be good. I think it's going to be a big crowd for that, and Aaron is very knowledgeable, as you know, and so it should be some good stuff. And I think there'll be some things to look at and equipment and things like that, because we all want to know how to be more digital. And there's all those brand new radios that are thousands of dollars that we're all wanting to buy to do these digital things. That's the voice of Ron, Mr. Bones. You can check him out on Friday evenings here in the Central Valley on 36th Lower. That's Ditchbank's sideband net. He does a good job. He's got a great transmitter and receiver, and you'll be able to, if you're not on the list, just like here, you can check in after the net roll call, and he'll be glad to take you in. Sounding good tonight, Ron. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, Dennis. Have a good net. Take care. 7-3.
And Matambale, the International DX phone. Oh, no wonder it was so. It's international. That's number one, meaning that probably 15, 20, and 10 are super busy. I was listening to 40. And it's the DX phone, meaning you can put the J38 key to the side and holler CQ contest for the next 24 hours. You'll be doing good. Let's go to SWL 83. SWL 84. We'll get the whole group checked in. SWL 84, SWL 86, shortwave listener 87. They're not wanting to check in here. They're not wanting to. Okay, there they go. And SWL 88. My mouse is not working. So, who is that? That respectively, that's Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl. Over to SWL 89. And I will check that at Foxman 362, a Wilson 1000 mag mount. Now are there Wilsons? And there are Wilsons. Are there new Wilsons and the old Wilson? And there's some history to that company. And I think the Wilson antenna company was a ham. I think it was Jerry Wilson. I can't remember. Jim. I think it was Jim Wilson was a ham. He's got a 2x1 call or something like that. But that was the older company. The newer company, I'm not sure about. I actually heard him on the air, but I'm sure he's sold the company. He's probably 80 or 90 years old, if he's still around. Let's go to SWL 90. Got a proxy check-in for 90. SWL 91 Felix asked for an early check-in, which he got. See if Mr. Roman is hanging around tonight. SWL 92. SWL 93. A shortwave listener 94. I don't think there's a 94. I called it anyway. SWL 95. Some of the numbers are missing because we had just way too many numbers. And back in the day, 30 years ago, we kind of started paring them down because we would never get to the radio. We're heading out to Boston, SWL 97. See if Jim is listening in tonight. Oh, and I missed. Because I'm on an old, you know what? I'm on my old list. But Kurt, I won't forget you. SWL 96, and we'll be talking to you. Don't go away. We'll be talking to you on the Echo link out there in Kokomo. That's coming up here in a minute or two if you're listening in. SWL 98, Tracy. Got Tracy checked in. A lot of good videos, or not videos, but photos posted. Thanks, Tracy. I always enjoy looking at those. SWL 99 Radio Randy may or may not be in tonight. He's out in Cape Creek, Arizona, and has actually pointed his behemoth beam this way when we had some of those great skip conditions. And we've talked to Randy direct. Let's do the Echo link, SWL 100. I will go over here and see if I can't fire up the item of interest by hitting the proper space bar. Who do we want? KD4BAO from KB6GFD.
UL 100, good to hear you. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
All right, having some audio problems here with my connection, so I'll keep it unplugged when I need it. But anyway, thank you, Tony. Tubes on the air. We're getting ready for the activation coming up in just moments. Thanks. KB6GFD. keying down the microphone. Let's see if... All right, I got mix 3. Let's do that. There we go. I see what's happening. Let's, sorry, Kurt, let me try. I'm having some problems on my receive end. I think I can hear you just fine, so give it a shot. KD4, no, I'm sorry, W9 KEC KB6 GFD, over.
KB6 GFD, good evening. Whiskey 9, Kilo Echo Charlie, SWL 96. Just wanted to pass some news on to you, Dennis. I know you got my email last week showing me you the 10-Tech Corsair 2. I'm getting ready to get that online probably in the next week. I finally got my antenna, which is going to serve double duty. I actually got myself an Antron 99, well, SolarCon A99, and I bought the ground plane kit, not even thinking. I have a 25-foot chain link fence in my backyard that I think that I'm going to use as my ground plane, get it all steel wool down to bare metal and bond it, and we're going to go that route. Anyways, I'll turn it back over to you, Dennis. Thank you so much for doing the net. And I hope all the SWL listeners are having a good evening, and we'll see you all again next week. KB6 GFD in the net, W9 KEC. We will be clear. 7-3.
All right, now you have a little bit of a low frequency tone coming in on the receive side, but I think I'm on the transfer. Sounding good. 10-Tech Corsair. I wish 10-Tech was around. They made some great radios. I remember back in the CW days when I was just starting out, and you would say my rig is, and you type, key out Yaesu or Kenwood or Heathkit, and the 10-Tech always threw me because it was it was TEN, TEC. It was and I'm like, what is going on with all these dits? But it was 10-Tech. Always made a great CW a call for that. All right, 73 to you sounds good. Looking forward to perhaps hearing that on the air. Let's say a good picture of that too. 73 to you from KB6GFD. Thanks. All right, sorry about that. I guess I could have just played it over the speaker. Maybe I could have done that. The old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. We will continue on, and the radios are not far away on our Echo Link. Couple of stations listening in on the air everywhere on many various frequencies. Hope you can do that as well. Always glad to hear what people are doing and that they enjoy the program here and all the good efforts taken by our local tube radio operators to display their collections and have a good time. Let's go to SWL 102. And John is right there from Scranton, Arkansas. Welcome to March. Yeah, we didn't get that extra day. For some people, maybe it's February 29th. Tomorrow is February 30th, but it is actually March 1st. On the little screen, 3/1/2025. Can you believe it? It's 3/1/2025, and we've got check-in sheets that go back to the 1990s. Crazy stuff. All right, let's go over to SWL 103 out in South Carolina. Let's see if Joey is checking in 1 hour ago. All right, Joey's in on oldtuberadio.com. Got you checked in. Hope all is going good out in your neck of the woods here in South Carolina. Let's go up the hill, see if Crawdad is on SWL 109. We got a proxy for Crawdad, and there's Joey. I see you on that screen too. You're all there. And there's Mr. Roman. Okay, I think we got the delay going on there. You know how that Universal Media NetWeb is 92. Right there, we got you. And the mode of operation. 109 for the proxy. SWL 110. SWL 111. Robert checked in earlier before the net, sounding good. SWL 113. SWL 114, Wayne in the rain.
114, checking in.
All right, 114, I got you, Wayne, no problem, and we got you checked in.
Thank you for the check-in.
All right, very good. And Chrissy, I got 92, Mr. Roman. I think we're got the delay going on, so sometimes it may take 30 or 40 seconds for the actual thing to be said and then to happen on the net. But we've got 92, looking good. I think got the official stuff for that. So thanks for the heads up on that. And Mr. Roman, you're good to go here on page 4. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. As always, let's go to shortwave listener 128, John in Fairfax, Virginia, who is checking in at the top of the net. And he's not staying up late, he said, so got an on-time early check-in for John. A lot of people feeling under the weather. You know where that came from when you were under the weather? What does that mean? It actually was a real thing. Back in the days of whaling ships and being on board, when you were not feeling well, you would go below deck and hang out in a horizontal position and try not to get even sicker. So basically, you were going from the top of the ship in the weather to below deck, under the weather, and that's how that happened. That's why if you're not feeling well, you are under the weather. You're off the deck and doing that. So hopefully not too many of you are under the weather. Let's go to SWL 131. Shortwave listener 133. SWL 135.
Hello, SWL 135, checking in.
Sounding good. Obviously on a great tube radio. We'll be checking with that shortly, so don't go away. Let's go to shortwave listener 137. Tony, SWL 145. Give a proxy for Tony, and do I have time? Let me see. I think he left me a couple of questions from the Friday net. Let me see if I can find them here. What day was Friday? Should have been the 28th. Oh, you know, he might have been gone. That's right. I think he didn't do that. So no questions. Let's go to SWL 147. Neil checked in moments ago, and we got him out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Let's go to Bobby. I think I saw him jump in Snow Beast. Hello, radio.
Good evening time, Dennis. Good evening time to all SWLs. 188 checking in.
188 sounding good, looking good on the meter. We got a little wind and some weather coming in, so make sure those antennas are shored up.
Yes, sir, it is down. Yeah, I saw the wind coming in, so I brought it down.
All right, good deal. Yeah, it was getting a little crazy, and then they're talking about thunderstorms tomorrow, so we're probably going to get some heating, and then the bad stuff. So, all right, you are good to go. Thanks. SWL 195, Jim up in Corscold checked in moments ago, and then also, let's say hello radio to Jeff 226, Mr. Shockwave. And we'll put a check mark in for Mr. Shockwave. Jeff, I believe he will check in on Facebook, and anybody else that would like to get in, don't have to be on a page or number. If you want to jump in and say hello radio, now is the time to do it.
Break OTR.
The break OTR. Go ahead, sir. Over.
Hey, Dennis. It's been a while. This is SWL 65 checking in.
What was the number again? Over.
65.
Oh, 65. Yeah, it has been a while. It's like, how could I forget? Anyway, you're sounding good. Making it into Midtown. Good here tonight. Thanks for being patient and standing by. Putting a big X in the square. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Dennis. We are in a mobile and happy to be out and about.
All right, and you remembered the Saturday night place to be, and there just happened to be channel 11 on the dial, and here we are once again. Who would have thunk? All right, sounding good. Drive careful.
Thank you.
Okay, I shall return. I'm going to check a few things so we can get the tube radios started. I will be back, and we'll be doing what we do best. But the reason we are here, the reason this net was started ever so long ago, is to promote the use, distribute information, and get your tube radios on the air, wherever you might be. We'll do just that in a minute or two. Thanks for joining us. All right, sorry about that delay. I think we are ready to go now. The Old Tube Radio Network.
We're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Oh, there it is. Now everybody's really loud. Okay, I found the problem was a weird connection on the echo link, which is throwing in that tone, so hopefully we will have that problem solved. And back here, let me get back to the studio so we can check in some radio items of interest. I believe that's what we want right there. Yes. So without any further ado, because I'm already behind. I'm behind by 14 minutes. That's not a good thing. This is the Old Tube Radio Network, and we're listening for your Old Tube radios. Over.
135, 135.
All right, 135. Waiting for my AGC to settle down here. Very loud. That is a very loud radio. I am very interested to find out what it is. I'm guessing what it could be, but it sounds excellent. Go ahead, sir. 135.
Okay, it probably is what you're thinking. This is SWL 135 on a radio from Winnisquam, New Hampshire. This is the Tram TR27E, as in Echo. Let's see, there are 12 tubes, but all 23 crystal-controlled transmit channels and VFO for receive. Back to you.
Get my microphone here. Yeah, TR27E. I've got to get my radio page coming up. It's being a little bit slow. Tram was definitely on my list. I said, I know he's got a buddy. It's definitely not an Eagle, but the other one I thought maybe it would have been you did something to the general radio telephone. 27E. There it is. I'm stalling. Go ahead and take a transmission. I'll get that picture up there. For some reason, they're taking a long time. Over.
Okay. Let's see, what else can I say about it? It is an all-chrome case, which is different, I think, from a lot of them you see. But they did come in chrome. As far as receive goes, there is a crystal socket for the channel of your choice. For receive only. Currently the noise limiter is on. It's a fully adjustable noise limiter, but works best I think when you just click it on. Get just enough to get rid of the noise, but not really distort the receive audio. Oh, how about the microphone? Yeah, the microphone here is a gray bass amplified D104. How's that? Back to you.
That is great. I got a couple of the ads that says, why not own a Tram? It's the best. I mean, they don't make any bones about it. Let's see, TR27E, lots of features, 12 tubes, 17 tube performance. So did you see any ghost tubes in there?
Nope, and I looked around for them. Yeah, I've seen that advertisement. Yeah, there are no mystery tubes that I was able to find, but the 12, as indicated, are there, and they are glowing. Back to you.
They are. Careful assembly. Back in the day, every Tram chassis is hand-wired and soldered. No printed circuit board troubles. Connections are 100% inspected. Radios, when completed, are completely tested before approval. So, who do you think? Do you think that the CEO of the company was actually saying breaker 19 to check your radio on?
It's possible, but who knows? You'll have to ask Harvey about that. He may have actually been around there. Yeah, I think did Tram make their own tubes or just print their name on tubes, because there are some original Tram tubes in here, but most all of them have been replaced with other brands. I'm not sure how all that worked out. Do you? Again, I don't know if they actually manufactured tubes or like some of the other brands. Didn't Browning do that too? Like they had some, you could find Browning tubes in a Browning. Back to you.
That is a good question, and I would try to answer it, but I would probably answer it wrong. So it'd be interesting to know if, they were obviously, I would think, manufactured by somebody for Browning or for Tram. They had a company policy says guaranteed your money back if for any reason you are dissatisfied and you choose to return the radio in 10 days. So you may be out of time to return the radio. I'm trying to find a picture. Okay, there it is. For some reason, the pictures aren't displaying to me, but they're showing up on the Universal Media Network. There is the lovely Tram TR27 Echo. Looks like to be green or blue on the front. The ginormous meter. This was Tram's final series in the 27 series, or the final one in the 27 series. The Echo model, and the radio before, what about after this, the Tram Titan. We probably shared some similar stuff. Your choice of microphonium is good. I mean, it's very loud. I don't hear any what sounds like clipping or distortion. So when you come back, I'll put on the picture that's got the S meter and the Orban meter, and we'll see where things are going. So back to you.
Okay, yeah, we'll check the loudness on the loud meter. I'm a little more than a foot away from the mic, and I am not trying to yell or anything like that. A lot of times I do, just to try to get these things to put out a little bit. But I guess you're saying with this one, no need for shouting. Although I can. Now I wonder if we can get it to distort. There's a lot of tubes in here to help prevent that, I think. Let's find out. Audio. Okay, well, how did that work? Did I blow up your poor Orban meter?
No, it peaked out at a nice number. I didn't hear flat topping. There's something going on. Maybe there's a compression circuit in there, but it's still loud. I was like, if it's not true plate modulated, it certainly sounds good. One of the SWLs saying that radio's a keeper, and you could probably walk over. Although I'm not sure. I don't think we hear the 111 guy that much. There's a 111 guy on channel 38. They just want you to bring that radio and see if you can step on the 111 guy. You probably could with that radio. Over.
I've seen that in the chat box and stuff, but I actually don't know who they're talking about. But who knows? Maybe it would. And this is all barefoot and everything, so who knows? Maybe if I put a 50,000 watt blowtorch behind it. Yeah, well, you could probably do that with a little paste 23 channel mobile. Oh yeah, that brings up the other thing too. Didn't Radio Shack, I think, also had like a brand of tubes that weren't they like guaranteed for life or some nonsense like that? And I guess they didn't mean my life. They must have meant theirs.
Exactly. No, they used to have a tube checker, and yeah, I think it was a free replacement or something. That would have been the best place to get tubes, and they might have had, I want to say it was a gold line or something, where the gold pins. A lot of places had tubes. Those of us who are old enough to remember going into like a department store, like Zodi's or whatever, and they would have a tube checker, a little door on the bottom with the tubes inside, and and sometimes they'd have 2 or 3 next to each other. And the best thing was like to check one tube and then go to the other machine and check it again and see how close you got. Because you never know. Somebody could have spilled a chocolate malt down the tube sockets. It was always a gamble. Over.
Oh yeah, I remember they had a great big one. Oddly enough, and they did have tubes for sale at Thrifty Mart. up there at Weston Shaw. Thrifty Mart, a grocery store, for those of you out there too young to remember. It was a grocery store, and yeah, they had a big tube tester, and you could take in your tubes that you suspected might be bad and check them there in their big tube tester. And they had a gondola, a small wall of tubes, and that was I did that when I was a kid. With the we had a Zenith television. Gosh darn, what was it? It was or was it Quasar? It was either Zenith or Quasar TV, and there's one or two tubes that would go out every once in a while. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I always thought tube checking was fun. It's you had to turn knobs and set numbers and look on a chart, and then kind of wait. It was like gambling, pulling the slot machine. You had to wait for the tube to warm up, and then all of a sudden the meter would move, and is it going to be gassy? Is it going to be a short? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be weak? So fun stuff. Forgot about all that. Talking with Cliff, he's on the, from 1962, 1963, this was the Tram company's, Winnisquam, it was their top-of-the-line radio. I was looking to see if I had a price point on this, and I do not. And all the advertisements don't mention the price, but my guess is it was probably comparable to whatever Browning was doing, so probably in the mid to upper $300 range, which was quite a bit of money back in that day. Super loud audio. I hope you get a chance to watch the replay and listen in. You will be pleased, as everyone is saying, that radio is definitely a keeper, but I know you're not getting rid of it.
Well, not yet, that's for sure. Yeah, I really like this one. Like the Tram Titan, the meter goes into the green instead of red, like on a lot of these, and you are 20 dB over S9 well into the green. The maximum on here being 60. So it's ready for big signals, I guess. And you know what? You clipped me there. That's exactly what I was going to ask you, because none of my stuff shows it either. The price point. How much did these things go for? I've always been curious about that. If anybody knows, go ahead and pop it up there in the box, and I will see it later on the replay. Yeah, I fear that in that year that you're talking about, a full 23-channel radio of any kind was going to be pretty expensive. So, it would be interesting to know what these went for. Thank you for letting me check it in. And, we're starting out March. This will be the beginning of the green radios. There will be more in future episodes. Okay, so thanks and see ya.
All right, I hope they get that fire. Boy, those sirens are loud, so maybe you got the microphone up too high. Like I said, there's no distortion or anything, but I'm sure there was some fire trucks heading down the road there were quite loud. Unless, of course, did you feel the top of the Tram? It's not burning up, is it?
No, it's just nice and warm. Yeah, I think they've gone another direction, thankfully. Yeah, they're coming to get me. And yeah, it looks like I'm just about exactly on frequency. Wow, I rarely see that. Sorry for the pause, but when I shut up, 270850. Yes, that rarely happens here. So again, thanks for letting me check it in. We'll catch you next week.
All right, thanks for stopping by. I forgot about March. St. Patty's Day coming up, and we have some traditions here on the Old Tube Radio Network, annual traditions. One of them, of course, is the portable check-in from Christmas Tree Lane, and another one is from our station just here there at Cliff. And in the month of March, he collects all his, it's the keying up of the green. He'll collect his green or close to green radios, and it will bring us one each week for the month of March. And so, of course, for the first day of March, I wonder if we can get, it's a Saturday. Well, you have to do 5. I don't know. We'll see. If we've got 5 Saturdays in March, which we might, you may have to go out and buy another green radio, the Tram TR27 Echo. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's see, I think we've got the link back up to the Jingle Singers here. We'll be back in just a moment.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
The station for you, and maybe even you. Let me get back to the control room here, and what is that behind me? Yes, Moocher! Moocher has made it into the control room, and Mooch, she's hiding. It sounds like Mooch is the treat dish. Moocher. The treat dish must be empty. Well, see who's out there. I know a lot of people are not feeling well tonight. I understand that, so if you are not, you just want to listen in, that's fine. We will catch you next week, because there's some bad weather coming up, so you gotta stay good. Anyway, the Old Tube Radio Network, we're standing by. Hey, 14. Now, nice. We got a nice, quiet, at least here. I don't know what is out in your neck of the woods, but right here tonight, albeit for a little bit of the QRM from my QTH with bad LED lights and little nighttime sensors, the band is pretty quiet. So go ahead. You've got radio number 2, and I have a feeling I might know where to look in the Rolodex here.
Yeah, I'm on my Browning Golden Eagle Mark III with an unamplified D104 gray bass desk mic, and this is the radio that has the custom ping with the Bozo control knob, little red knob that you can push in and pull it back out, and it doubles the ping, which I'm sure everybody loves. And it's a radio that Harvey, brought back from the dead. It's not a good-looking radio by any means. It's a pretty rough one, but a testament to Harvey's skills, and he brought it back to life for me.
There you go, extra ping flavor. Probably easy to work on, like they mentioned with the trams, no printed, as they say, no printed circuit boards to fail, all hand wired. Got a nice shot across a desk with the radio, the transmitter, and the receiver, or I should say the receiver and the transmitter next to each other, taking up about 3 feet of space. Very well done from Browning, the nice knobs, nice golden knobs, big speaker, and the flying golden eagle that you just wait for that nice on-the-air light to jump in. So sounds good, nice audio, and that is an unamplified microphone. Browning did a good job of always making sure their radios were loud. They had some good filtering in there, so it was hard to make the audio sound anything than like what it would sound on a Browning. Take another transmission.
Yeah, it does have good audio. I'll give it that. It's about my least favorite radios to listen to the receive. I just don't care for the way the speaker sounds, and just the sound quality isn't that great. But yeah, great radio though on the other end of it when you're receiving me. So yeah, I've had it running here for several hours, and seems to be doing its thing tonight.
Plus, one of the few, or there were some, but one of the few tube radios with single sideband in addition that Browning made, I guess, on the Mark II with an extra box, or extra circuitry, and then they were able to combine them all in the Mark III between the transmitter and receiver. Get you back to two pieces of gear. Sounds good. I appreciate you jumping into the air chair tonight to give us a radio or two. Like I said, it's probably going to be a slow night, but take care. If you've got another one, fine. If not, we will catch you next time around. But it does sound good on the Old Tube Radio Network, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. SSB.
Yeah, thanks for the time tonight for the old Browning Mark III.
You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
60.
SWL 60. There we go. The computer locked up. It's just putting random pictures on, but that's good. They're pictures of tube radios, and that's nice. Joe, thanks for joining us. You're sounding good. You will be Radio 3. Take a transmission over.
Sir Dennis, I'd like to check in my little 7-tuber. Give you a guess on that one. Like you already would know anyway. Pretty little blue radio from World Radio Labs, my Hustler base.
7 tubes, no waiting. Now, we do wait sometimes for the month of March to pick up a lot of green radios, but there is always a spot open on the tube radio list if you want to check in something blue. That is to say, a blue radio. 8-channel crystal controls. Of course, you had to be crystal controlled according to the FCC. Didn't have to be on the tuning, so they give you a nice little VFO to find the right frequency, and hopefully the little dial is somewhere between 7 and 13, because that's where we're at.
Man, right on it for sure. Doggone it. We just did a little fine-tuning on you, and boy, you came in here gangbusters. A little bit of a two-tone, you might call it. Light blue in the front, and the casing be blue. Has all its hardware. Dennis even has a little mic hanger. I am not on the original mic, but it does have the original mic.
Our photo shows the original mic in coordinated matching blue. The black coiled cord. And so my question would be, it is wired into the radio, so the microphone you're using now, is it just coming out through the little grommet, or did someone actually install a mic plug on there?
Yeah, Dennis, doggone it, Harvey did install a mic plug. He did put it in the front there. Doggone it, it was coming out from underneath the radio. And most of the time, those that are from underneath the radio, as they go getting moved, dragged around, they kind of wear out. But it's now plugged in the front, and I'm on a Turner Plus 3.
All right, good microphone for that. I guess it was a mic jack that you put in, not a plug. World Radio Labs, Leo Meyerson, making of the WRL big-time radios for, I guess, the other 11 meters radio service that was around before, on these frequencies before 1958, and this is like a jumbo shrimp. They're smaller, 5-watt DC input version. Not sure how many they sold. It's a cute little radio, and even put in an S meter. Yeah, we've got room. Let's put in one there. So nice stuff. Always like to hear this radio. Oh, heat-wise, I see it's convection cooling. A lot of nice little holes on the top. So, are you, unlike the Robin and some of those other radios, after you've had it on for an hour, can you actually put your hand on top of the radio and not say ouch?
I just did. In fact, it's not bad. Right above the speaker are the majority of the holes, and right above the squelch and volume is a section of holes. But the center itself, and wide spot there in the center, has no holes at all.
Oh, no holes, milady. Well, probably doesn't need much. I mean, none of these at 5 watts. I don't know of any of the radios that had built-in fans like you would have for the 80, 60, 100-watt radios to keep things cool. And of course, tubes do like to run a little bit on the hot side. Not a transistor. Transistors, you got to keep them cool, but tubes thrive when the surroundings are a little bit warm. So not a problem unless you. It's the components around it. It's the transformers and all the other stuff that may not take the heat so well. So if you put a fan on it, it'll help out, but the tubes don't need it.
Yeah, no, let me see which one. Well, I've got 30 tubes over here, and I always seem to run into a problem with one of them being on when it shouldn't. Shame on the mess. Yeah, but no, fans are not needed, not on this particular model. Now, if we were talking about the one I'm going to key up here pretty soon, the Robin, now you're talking heat. Anyway, thank you, Dennis, for letting me check this one in, and we'll get another one in. And yeah, because the night is rolling, and we want to get some of these checked in.
All right, good. And I want to get checked in as well. So we'll let you go over to the switch, and however it is you have to whatever you have to do to get them on the air, and we will do just that. That's my job here at the Old Tube Radio Network. Jingle Singers, of course, reminding you of that friendly favorite place on a Saturday evening.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all and
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
We hope the station for you tonight is OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network. What do we got going on? The REA meter looks pretty good. Looks like the modulation asymmetrical positive peaks. And we're just waiting for your tube radios to check in.
$60.
Hey, 60, just grabbing the microphone here. I'm trying to accommodate Mooch, who's just off screen, staying out of everybody's way, except mine. And I think I've got all I need to get you in for Radio 4. Take a transmission.
Thank you much, Dennis. I'd like to check in my Blackface Johnson, my TOO. Doggone it, we didn't get a chance to check it in last week. We got some company coming in at the time that we were running the radios here, and didn't get a chance to really get on the radios. But I'd like to check in my Blackface Johnson, TOO, 10 tubes, 10 channels.
As we say, 10 tubes, 10 channels, no waiting. Let's go to the close-up, showing the static microphone on this. Now, we were talking earlier about the Messenger 323, which was a mobile version, certainly not looking a lot like the Messenger 1 or the Messenger 2 or even the 223, but it would have been the radio which you would pair with this when you got your license. You'd buy the nice base Messenger 2, and at the time they had the 123, the 323 out. Some of these predated that, and you could run them mobile. There was 3 versions of this. I think they had a 6-volt version. I know they did with the Messenger, but they had a 12-volt version and then a 117, and you just had to buy the right one with the right cord in the back until you could wait for E.F. Johnson to make those solid-state radios. Nothing fancy about it, but it sure sounds good over.
Doggone it, you're right there, Dennis. Nothing fancy about it. You know, you look at the front of it, and it's all like about a 5x5 front, but then it runs back, about a foot, and there's nothing behind the face at all on this radio. The indicator light is behind the screen. Then of course you have your channel changer and your selector over here, your A, B, C, D, whatever, on the left side. You got your volume and your score. Not a whole lot going on in this radio, but in a sense, it's like on a business end, it'd be the radio you'd want to be talking on.
That is for sure E.F. Johnson making some very heavy boat anchor radios for the amateur people. We're running 6146 tubes and a pair of them, sounding like a broadcast station most of the time. So that's why these radios were they were affordable, they were simple, and they were well made and sounded good, and you could do some modifications, power supply wise or tube wise sometimes. You get a little bit more power out of them, and they always sounded good. So where you just had a business and you got on once or twice a day, or you were jumping in after, the Jack Benny program and getting on with your 5 minutes on and 5 minutes off for the rest of the evening. They worked well, built well too. From E.F. Johnson and Joe, back to you for transmission, and thanks for radio number 4.
Thank you, Dennis, and doggone it, it was a pleasure. Like I say, we didn't get a chance to fire it up last Saturday, but hey, we did it this week. We're satisfied, and we got another one warming up.
All right, we've got plenty of space. The old tube radio network, real radios glow in the dark. We have been meeting on the air on Saturday evenings since the mid to late 1980s, most every Saturday, doing it in a net type style, just like you're hearing tonight. I am just one of the many net controllers, and then at some point years ago, we figured out how to attach the Universal Media NetWeb to do some audio streaming to share what we do, and now there's even a video, so we can show some pictures. If you are new to the radio world, or just to remind you of the radios you might have had, or in a lot of my cases, the ones I really want to had, but back in the high school days and college days, just couldn't afford it. So it's nice to be able to listen to them now and check them in. It's good stuff. Like an old car, like fins and chrome. The old Tube Radio Network, jingle singers, been joining us for a lot that time, and they don't mind telling you about the latest style of whatever's happening.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Well, there's got to be something wonderful about Fresno. They know about it. I wish they would tell me. We're listening for radio number 5. Well, we're going to start calling you the fastest coax in the West, Joe. Take a transmission, and I'll see if I got a picture of it here in the Rolodex.
Yeah, well, there won't be much digging there on the Rolodex there. Doggone it, Dennis, I'd like to check in Mike Johnson, my 223, 23 channels.
23 channels and a good juxtaposition. Here is a radio that we just checked in or talked about, the Messenger TWO. And so in 1968, 69, things were picking up in the CB world. The competition was actually, for E.F. Johnson, the competition was actually putting out some nice looking radios with all sorts of knobs and dials, and E.F. Johnson still wanting to stay true to what Class D 11-meter citizen band radio should be, took that radio we just talked with, stuck it in a nice case, put a meter in, put all 23 channels, I maybe beefed up the power supply, and here you have it. Nice looking radio, Messenger 223, take a transmission.
You're right about that, Dennis. Doggone it. We have it a little bit on the dark side. We don't have a light up under it. But the way it's lit up, the channel selector and the meter are just glowing. The radio itself is attractive. It's a good-looking radio, and I imagine it served its purpose. I wish back in the day, if I'd have had a radio and had been talking on tube radio, I wish I'd have had this 223. I like this radio. It's nothing fancy, nothing to puzzle your head about whether or not you're gonna be able to get out, or have to do anything special, clarifiers and all that. No, you just heat up the mic and put it on channel and talk.
Easy to do, and that's sort of what they wanted you to do. Notice there's not, unlike the Eagle, there's only 3 knobs on the entire radio. Nice build. I agree with you. I think it's a very cool looking radio. It doesn't look utility, doesn't look overly done like a piece of stereo equipment. It just looks like it could get out. Price was always affordable back in the time, late 60s, early 70s, a lot of radios were starting to come in the $300 and even $400 range. E.F. Johnson, I don't know how they did it, managed to keep these around $200, $225. If you bought the microphone with it, and then we're showing a picture of the one with the Turner style desk mic, unamplified of course, but it's got the Johnson logo made by Turner. You could buy it with that desk mic for base use. This radio, unlike the two, did not go mobile. There wasn't a setup to change the cord for that. I think they did that on purpose because we were talking earlier about Johnson at this time now was producing some solid-state mobile radios, the 323 and the 123, and so when you bought this nice base station, they certainly wanted to sell you another solid-state radio for your car, and they did a lot of that. Looks good, sounds good. Some of them, and we're showing this, have the little light in the front for a modulation light. And Joe, I can't remember if you have the mod light or not on your version.
No, I don't, and doggone it, I know I've been asked several times about that, and I wish it would have had it, but nothing tells me on this end that I'm working other than the fact someone else tells me that, you know, we're still on the air. I do have the original mic. You described it to the T. It's the same color as the radio, and it's nothing fancy about it. There's no tones, there's no volume knob, nothing but the keyed on bar which says Johnson, and the of course your logo on the speaker.
And it keys up most every week, so doing good. We're glad we get a chance to drive it around the block. You are radio number, oh, did I write it down? Messenger. No, you're number 5. I was looking for the messenger, too. I got so enamored in talking about the radio, forgot to put it on the list. You are radio number 5, and it sounds good from E.F. Johnson. Over.
Well, thank you much, Dennis, and for the Johnson lovers out there, I hope they love this radio, along with all the Johnson family radios that's ever built. Amazing how many radios Johnson put out, mobile and base, and they just went on and on. Okay, Dennis, thank you. I'm getting another one warmed up.
Boy, don't key one down before you turn the other off. 60.
There you go. I like the way, especially on the back-to-back, sometimes that's fun because we can hear, we can actually hear the differences in the radios because you've got the same voice coming on the same microphone. And so this one definitely has a different sound. Over to you.
Yeah, Dennis, doggone, this is my Robin, the 123B Bravo. 11 tubes, all 23 channels, in fact a few extras. I've got a few extra little micro switches here on the top that I play with once in a while, and a lot of good little functional parts.
I like those functional parts. Let me insert the Robin T123B. This is from Cliff's collection. Now it's amazing. This radio is probably the biggest one, but it has kind of the most subdued sound. That's probably due to the fact, I think you said you're running the stock microphonium. This radio fits in well with our theme for the month of March because it looks pretty green to me. Over.
Well, doggone it, it will be on for the month of March for sure. There to you know, kind of fit in with the season there. Anyway, doggone it, like I said, it does have all the channels, a few extras. It does have a volume, RF gain, fine tune, squelch, volume, and your squelch is a pull knob, so you get a little extra tone. And then, of course, there are other buttons, and those buttons have lights, and all of them do work. And this one is, like you said, this one does run hot, but it's nice because I've had it on standby all this time, and hey, when you get ready to get on it, all you do is turn it on, instant on.
kind of a trick some of the shortwave receivers, standalone receivers, used to do, where you could keep the filaments up and running. And that was mainly for a drift thing. That was, you know, back in the day when the radio would drift around, the receiver would drift around, you didn't want to go chasing your station. You could keep it warmed up. So kind of a a holdover from those days. Probably didn't really need it. I would say that radio probably didn't drift around too much, crystal controlled, or transmit on the receive, but it's nice they put in a feature like that. And if the E.F. Johnson 223 was a popular radio, the radio to get, say, in 1969, 70, and 71, when these Robins and the radios using the Panasonic No. 2 chassis came out, they took over. These were the radios you heard early on, 73, 74, 75, just before the 40-channel days and the various versions of them. And so it's nice to get a back-to-back sound between that and the E.F. Johnson, the deluxe model for sure. There's a lot of knobs and switches on this one.
Yeah, and doggone it, I've understood a lot of times people would say that they didn't particularly like the sound of the speaker on this radio, and I find nothing wrong with it. It helps me because I'm hard of hearing to begin with, and it's loud and crystal clear. So I don't have a problem with it. Now the modulation light, because I am on the original stock microphone. This little guy is a small microphone. The modulation light does flicker, and at times it gets pretty bright. So I know that much is working.
Oh, it's all working. The T123. I just got to put a close-up picture, and it says base/mobile. So here's another one. If you had the right cord, see, you plug in the same spot in the back, but you've got to have the proper connections. You can take it out hold it out to the car, tell your passengers to sit in the back seat, strap it into the passenger seat, and away you go. And Albert says, Joe is on a roll. I agree. Joe is doing good. If it wasn't for Joe tonight, I would be having to bring out my violin. doing some music. So you're saving the crowd from some bad music, over?
Well, you know, we want to kind of touch some people out there, like them Robin lovers and them Johnson lovers, and you know, of course, you know, turning on the one from World Radio Labs, of course, that's a stray that one has to see to believe, for sure. But anyway, I do appreciate it, and yeah, this would be the radio I would have in the car, and if it was in the car, I probably wouldn't be driving. I'd be in the back seat with it.
There you go. Have your own little field day or tubes on the air. Bring a nice little base station mast and set up and go. Well, we talked about doing OTR remotely like that one time, driving up to the hills and seeing if we could do something like that. We never got around to it. It was a little harder to do with the tube radio than it is with something else. Thanks, Joe, for yet again another radio. Number 6 on the list sounds good, and we will be standing by. What time is it? We'll be counting and mounting, but there's still plenty of room to get another list or two coming in.
Thank you much, Dennis, and good evening there for sure. Beautiful setup you got going there. Doggone it. It's too bad I didn't have 50 radios to check in.
Not a problem, and I mentioned before when I was talking about Phil and some of our stations that did have 20, 30 radios. Fred, back in the day and Les, had built these consoles with plugs, almost like a telephone exchange, so that they could have 30 or 40, and I kid you not, and they had them, 30 or 40 radios, and they would able to plug the microphones in, like use the same mic for the radios by plugging it in to various jacks that would run into the radio, and the same way with an antenna, making a patch bay for the antenna. So it kept the net controllers busy checking in all those radios back in the day, and here we are in 2025 with our Tube Radios collector still helping us out. But the jingle singers are always around and reminding everybody about the magic. And so if you'd like to get up and dance, here's a little 20-second cha-cha-cha for you. We'll be right back.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
Radio for you, and hello to Sue just joined us. Somebody just came in the door, Alvaro in Zero Land from St. Louis, Missouri. I have not been there. I think the next time, I've got a brother who lives in Kansas, and he is always going to St. Louis and saying, doing movie nights or theater nights, and he sends back a picture. And St. Louis has got it going on. For a town that size, they have figured out how to do it right. Putting a lot of places to shame. So I hope to be out in that area sometime and visit, because it looks like a great place. The Old Tube Radio Network. We're listening for Radio 7. And the band just keeps getting quieter. I'm disappointed in that we're just not getting the short E-skip. There are a lot of stations that listen in Idaho, Washington, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, that either we'd like to get a report that they're hearing us check the radios in, or just give us a live report and saying, hey, we hear you guys. So that may come up, but Cycle 25 has been a disappointment that way. Although right now, if you get on the bands, it's roaring in, just as you know, if you try and actually have a conversation during the day on your 11-meter radio. Counting and amounting, but we've got time for more radios if you've got them, the Old Tube Radio Network. And I wonder, Harvey came in. He's recuperating from his arm surgery, so I didn't know if he was have one more radio to check in or not. Sometimes he is way in the recesses of the Harvey radio shop, and it takes him a while to get to the microphonium. If not, I'm not going to stay up too late tonight. I know a lot of people are wanting to get to bed early and not feeling good, so jingle singers, can you help me out here? We'll be back in a moment.
You're tuned to
OTR.
your dial reads
Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
All right, Moocher Cat is back. Where did you go? Probably to check out the treat dish thing. It's empty. So that's the calls, like you are getting off the radio at some point and filling up the dish. I think I heard, ask and ye shall receive in the RF department. I think I just heard a Harvey.
Yeah, I was on the phone. Okay, R68, T68 Browning Laboratories. Okay. If anybody kept track of Chris's radios and Ed's radios, I still got them. I haven't been able to do much with them because of my arm. They're still in my car. So, I'll be able to get to them late next week. I worked today, and thanks to Sean, number 14, my alternator went out right when I got to do my second job in Sanger. My alternator goes out and I'm 20 miles from home. Well, I was also 5 minutes from Sean's. And Sean works on all his cars. He's fortunate to have quite a few different types of cars, so he works on them all the time. And he was able to, with a bad back, he was able to install a new alternator with a tiny bit of help from me, which is basically me looking over his shoulder. Anyway, so that was my day. But anyway, next week I'll be able to probably get to a lot of the radios because my arm is starting to feel better. Okay, Dennis. Oh, did you get a proxy for 77?
I'm checking my list, or checking my list twice. What's the Santa Claus thing you're supposed to do? And I see, yeah, 77 does have a proxy check-in for the evening.
Well, I don't know who proxied them in, obviously, but I do need to kind of get a hold of them, so I'll maybe give them a call tomorrow, see if I can get a hold of them.
All right, very good. Got a hold of you. We got the Beagle in for Radio 7. I think that'll make an evening for us tonight, better than I thought we would do. A lot of people are under the weather. We talked about that. And hopefully you can stay safe and sane. We will be here next week, next Saturday, I do believe, with the Old Tube Radio Network. But certainly don't wait until Saturday to get on the air, wherever you might be, and join us. Back in a moment. Thanks, Harvey.
Hey, I'm always safe and insane. Okay, thank you, Dennis. Take care. Talk to you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
Now that is a fanfare. That is a fanfare. What do you think about that, Mooch? That means we're almost done. The Old Tube Radio Network tonight, what did we have? 16 check-ins on page 1, 15 on page 2, 20 on both pages 3 and 4 for a total of 71. Of course, you don't have to wait on any piece of paper to stop by and join us. We're glad you did. And radios tonight, we had 7. The most heard manufacturer looks like a tie between the Johnsons and the Brownings. We'll see what we got anyway. We started off with the Tram TR27E, very, very loud. I figured it had to be a Tram or a Buddy general radio telephone. That's all the way from 1963. Thanks, Cliff, for that. In the Green Radio series for March, look for yet another Green Radio coming up next week. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB from Sean. You know, sometimes it's Saturday evening, and even if you don't feel up to it, you just got to get in the radio room and key some up, and we certainly appreciate that. Always looks good on the list. Always sounds good beaconing the airwaves wherever you might be. Thanks for radio number 2, Sean. Radio number 3, World Radio Lab Hustler. It's blue, and it's a fixture of the Old Tube Radio Network. We don't have at least one blue radio here now in the den. We're just not doing it right. Thanks, Joe. Joe doing not the triple play, but the 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. His next radio, our radio number 4, the E.F. Johnson Messenger TWO. And then the radio that Johnson created after that, out of that, the Messenger 223 for Radio 5. And then the Panasonic chassis, plate modulated but subdued, with the original microphonium, the Robin T123 Bravo. And as you just heard moments ago, the Browning R68 T68, the radio after the Eagle, the first one to wear the Golden Eagle, and kind of a short run between those radios and the Mark II. When Browning started figuring out how needed to put sideband and started adding pieces. You are listening to, and have been listening to, the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for your participation this evening. If you're watching the replay, again, this is something we do on Saturday evenings at around 8 p.m. Pacific time. Thanks for joining us, and thanks, of course, to our tube radio operators for taking time out of their evening to join us as well. 73 all will catch you next time. Stay well. Try to stay in the weather rather than under weather. it is just a quiet evening out there.
Thanks, Dennis. We're camped down a little bit here.
Yeah, I think we got to find a way to get another, I don't know, like 5 feet on that antenna.
Well, the answer is going to be whenever I put the tower up, and then I'll have the vertical at the very top. And we'll have about 80-something feet with the mast, so that will come. It'll probably be like, I don't know, fall of 25 maybe.
All right. Well, I'm thinking I might be doing a similar thing. Back in the day, way long ago, when I had my tower up, I had the same thing. I had my vertical above. It was above. Gosh, what was it? A 2-meter antenna, a VHF television antenna, a UHF television antenna, and a TH6DXX 6-element beam. And let me tell you, it was a big stick, and that made the perfect ground plane, and it was up at the mast probably about 70 feet. So we're at 2 wavelengths, and let me tell you, even though the big stick isn't the best antenna, having that altitude and the nice little ground plane underneath it, that thing worked out really well. So you've already got the height above average terrain going on, so you shouldn't have to do much. Over.
Yeah, it's I'm finding it's pretty decent location. It's good from what, like the southeast all the way to the maybe northwest or west northwest, but then direct north and northeast I got some humps and stuff around me here, but through the tower it should get up above that stuff. But anyway, hey, I like I said, I had to tamp this down a little bit. I still have you 5.9. What do you got me right now?
Oh, you know what? Let me put on the right screen. What would that be? And then I don't have to look beyond everything and find the radio. It's my S meter's hidden. Okay, go ahead and take another transmission. Over.
Okay. Yeah. We just turned the hot box off, whatever you want to call it, because I was on 20 meters. I guess there's a contest going on, because there was South Pacific, Peru, Chile, all kinds of crazy stuff coming in over there.
Oh yes, there is a contest. You know what? The camera just died. It's sitting. I'm saying, man, you're 20 over. You're, let's see, 5'10" over. And I've looked at this, I just realized that everybody's been 10 over. And I looked down at the radio, and of course, the camera's frozen up. So you're actually about S8, S9. My noise level, I'll key here, is about S4, and I have the RF gain set to sort of back things down a little bit. What else? You mentioned something. Oh, you mentioned about the contest, and somebody actually left a message saying the contest is. What was on the chat was an international phone contest. So the word international means you're going to have a lot of stations, especially on probably 20 and 15 meters and 40 meters late at night, making contact. So it's going to be extra crowded, I think.
Okay, I doubled with you a little bit on that, but yeah, I figured. I was trying to look it up. It was like one of them was like an 8-day contest or something. I don't know if that's the one, but anyhow, yeah, there's still a lot of stations out there.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe jumping on 40 meters a little bit later. I got to get to the air chair, but it'll be the band that goes long. But around 11 o'clock here it kind of opens up again out towards Canada and Wisconsin and Michigan and that area. So might see how it works. My problem is my antenna is very, very low. 40 meters at night. If you've got anything that's up in the air, you'll do well. Little NVIS antennas are going to be spotty, but you sound good now. I wish we got to work on. I was talking to Ken. We got to work on getting like a Kiwi or an SDR here in the Central Valley. That would be nice to have on the map. There isn't one at all in the Central Valley. I can't believe it. We've got some good locations here up in the hills. Well, they don't have to be up in the hills, and up at the radio transmitters, the television transmitters. I think there may be too much RF, and the problem is they're all owned by big corporations now that don't want you to put anything in their buildings. So we'll see. We'll find a place.
Yeah, interesting. So what? I knew you used to have a tower, but you said before you had a 70-something feet up. How long ago was that, Dennis?
Let's see. That was in about 2 houses ago. So it was a 55-foot tower. Crank up, just crank up and guide. So that took a while to put all together. And then in order, I had the TH60XX, which is the 10 through 20, or it's tri-bander. And then above that, I had a very long John 2-meter beam. I had it vertical. That thing was about 20 feet long. And then above that, I had the biggest Winegard VHF-only TV antenna you could get, because I was into TV DXing. And then above that, I had the biggest Winegard UHF-only TV antenna you can get, because I was into UHF TV DXing. And then above that, I had the big stick, so it was on about a 20-foot mast above everything. And the rotor was nested in. So those are very light duty. The TV antennas and the 11-meter antenna are pretty low wind load, light duty stuff. And then of course the tri-bander itself was down at the bottom, but it played well. And gosh, I remember when we had conditions, you'd see channels coming out of TV stations coming out of Texas, and just during the evening, especially during the summer, we get the tropospheric ducting, and I could get TV stations out of Sacramento, out of Bakersfield, out of Fresno, out of San Luis Obispo. So it was always fun. You could watch Johnny Carson 4 different places. The only difference would be when they went to a local break, you'd see car dealers in San Luis Obispo or in Lodi. It was kind of a trip.
That's pretty good. The VHF and UHF GX, interesting. Yeah, whenever we get something up here, it'll be the A99 on top. It'll be it's not very large, the 440 beam for sideband, and then I think I can't remember if it's 6 or 7 elements, 5 or 7 elements, 2 meter for sideband. And then, I don't know if we do something for 6 or not, but then it'll be a tri-band. I've got used the old, what was it before M squared? KX, whatever it was. Whatever Mike's company name was, I can't think of it at the moment. But it's a 4-element tri-bander. And then I'm thinking I'd like to also have like a 40, maybe something kind of squished down a little bit, but a 40-meter rotatable dipole, something like that. So yeah, I'd be like 4 or 5 antennas, something like that up there. That's the ideal scenario in my mind thing. We'll see how it all comes together, but that's what I'm thinking at the moment.
Oh, that's great. I'd love to. I want a 3-element 40-meter beam, but they are heavy and big. And when I put up my tower, it was the mid-'80s. In fact, it's right when we started doing OTR. I got the tower up right after that, and man, I could hear. We had people checking in. I kid you not, from Visalia, and I could hear them. We had people checking in from Parkfield. Up at, like, on the other side of Paso Robles looking down, stations up in the hills. We really had pretty decent coverage. And you're thinking of KLM antennas, and the M was Mike. Mike was the M. Mike Stahl was the M in the KLM antenna. So he took over, I guess, their whatever their schematics or plans were. So that sounds good. I don't know if you got room for more than one tower, but it takes a while to put everything up. And you know, the nice thing is I think you've got the towers, but we have the tower company here in town, the Tashian down in, is it Selma? Anyways, it's right here in California. It's not too far away. So if you end up getting something big, or you know, you find money you don't know that you had, and you can you can drive down there and they'll ship it up the hill for you.
No, yeah, they're down there, and then U.S. Tower is down like in Woodlake or something like that too. So, no, I got a pretty smoking deal on actually 2 U.S. towers. One of them is the HDX, the heavy duty series, which I need up here. It's just so flippin' windy. HDX 72 MDPL, so it's got all the motorized, it's got all the limit switches and all that stuff on it. It's a bit old, it's like 15 plus years old, but I got it with the raising, whatever you call it, fixture, the J-bolts, a couple of tail twister rotors. That was pretty cool. And then a pretty decent mast, like a 13-foot chromoly mast. So I got that, but the most expensive part, dude, is going to be, although I've got a backhoe now, I got to use backhoe, digging the hole and doing the and the rebar. And I think the concrete's probably going to be as much as the tower as far as the cost of material stuff.
Yeah, I mean, here I've got nice soft soil. When I was over at Ken's and looking at what he's got the 89-foot or whatever it is. He's got the extra section. And, you know, it's river park underneath there. It's what, 8 feet down and 4 feet around, and he said that it was dug by hand. I think you got to be kidding. Out there through hardpan, but it can be done, and it has to be done just because you need some kind of a counterpoise. And I don't know where you're at. I'm just wondering if there's going to be rocks and stuff. So yeah, there may be some skilled professionals involved with with heavy duty equipment in that one, because when I had my tower, it was guyed, and I spent 3 months making those guy wires. So I insulated them, or broke them all up with insulators and the egg insulators, and then putting the just all the hardware that went on there, and it was like, oh my gosh. And so I always said, you know, I'm going to be rich enough to afford not to have to do that again. Sounds like you've got exactly the good thing with especially with the lift up and the takedown. You know what's expensive, and I'll get out of here, but is the rotors. When I bought my tail twister brand new. I remember I went down to Henry Radio and I was going to get a Ham M, and they had a bunch of old crotchety guys, you know, there, and he was like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, I'm going to have this and that. And he said, no, this is what you want. They want the tail twister. It's got X more bearings, and of course it was like X more dollars. But I thought, okay. And he talked me into it, and it wasn't even $300. I know it's 40 years ago, so that's a lot of money, but it wasn't even $300 for a tail twister rotor. What are they now? Like $1,500?
I don't know if they're that much. I know the Ham 4s are like 6 or 7, and the tail twisters are more. So, yeah, I bought a Ham 4 7-8 years ago, or 4 or 5 years ago, and it was $300 or $400. Now they're 7-ish. I'm not sure. I don't think it's over $1,000 though for the tail twister, but I don't know. I'm not positive.
Yeah, what's another $1,000 right in the antenna mix? All right, I got to jump out of the air chair. What a great signal you've got! It's full quieting, no noise, audio sounds good. Oh, what are you using? Are you using the radio with a 3 or a 4? Or am I guessing? Or maybe you've got a 7300. I don't know.
Yeah, theoretically the latter. And then I got those little boxes that Ed had, EDC Ed, and it turns out it worked pretty cool. The guy from Ukraine, the UR6QW, it's a pretty cool little box, and I had put that on before we moved here. Anyway, we got that in the PR40 mic.
All right, nice. No, it's just nice, clear really clean audio. It's not too, it's not too boomy, not too, I mean, it's not in your face. It's just really good conversational audio, and it sounds like you. So that's on AM, and especially on the low-level modulated rigs. That's really kind of hard to do. So done a good job, and having the antenna up is good. Getting me inspired. Like I said, I'm getting ready to do a whole bunch of tree trimming, and that could clear the way. I've got one of those 135-foot, with a W7FG. It's the doublet. It runs a 600-ohm ladder line, and it should play 80 through 10, maybe even 6, with a 4-to-1 balun or whatever I'm going to do. So I've had that in a box for well over a year, maybe 2 years, I don't know. And so maybe if I get these trees trimmed, it'll be easier to shoot something up there and get it on the air. Won't work for this band, but it sure work nice at night on 40 and some of the other things. All right, 73 to you. Good night to the SWLs, the old Tube Radio Network, and all that stuff, talking radio. You just can't beat radio. We are not going to get a bill at the end of the month from our 11-meter net provider for this conversation. And that's a good thing.
There you go. Yeah, I've got a wire up for whatever 6 through 80 off center fit dipole. It's about 35 feet. Yeah, it works good. Getting a lot of Europe stuff lately. All right, man. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for the chat, and thanks for the net. And have yourself a great evening.
All right, very good. And I'm hoping, and this isn't like a commitment, but when I get my antennas up where they should be, where I can hear better, I might even have to get myself in the rotation on the Wednesday night net, because I'm in a good area, kind of in the central part of town. I should be able to hear a lot of people. If my antenna was where it's supposed to be, I should be able to hear everybody that checks in, and better, they might be able to hear me. So we'll see. That's sort of my goal. If I can get some stuff up, then I'll go ahead and throw my name in the hat.
Right on. As far as I'm concerned, that's no problem. We've got 4 now. It'd be the rotation of 5, but yeah, that'd be cool, man. All right. Have a good one, Dennis.
All right. Good night, everybody. And the old Tube Radio Network, such that it was or is, will catch you again next week.
Good night, Dennis. Hello, Mark.
Good night, Ron.
Oh, there we go. Now I am up in the wattage in the cottage.
I heard you both ways. I heard you in the basement and when you got out to the front porch.
I turned my reverse preamp back on.
All right, somebody needs treats. I'm out of here.
Hey, Dennis.
This is the basic Dennis. Over.
Time for you to turn in.
Turn in, tune on, and key down. Isn't that what Timothy Leary said?
Yeah, and I was there for that.
You were there for that? Oh, you know what? Oh, man. I forgot, and it's still going on, but it's only till midnight, and it's been going on all day since 9 o'clock. The annual Grateful Dead marathon on the FM station with people that have the tapes. I mean, these are the real guys. They got tapes of the band from the 70s and the 80s. One of the guys, I think, might have been in the band, but it goes on. It's an annual thing because it's fundraising time, and they go from 9 a.m. to at least midnight. So there's probably another hour of it. They're probably getting a little punchy by this time, but they're very knowledgeable, and it's a great program. That happens once a year. It's a over-the-air fundraiser. This is out of Berkeley. Of course, we're carrying the replay of that, or the rebroadcasting it here, but it is going on now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I lived up there, and kind of went through that when those bands started up. And we used to call it Berserkly because of that. But, yeah, I kind of still listen to that now and then. Okay, I've been just sitting here listening to you guys. I've got to get some work done before tomorrow morning, so I can go in when I feel like it tomorrow morning, so it's not that critical. Alrighty. We will catch you all next week.
Very good. Yeah, who would have thunk? I kind of figured you might be a Montavani and a Mel Torme kind of guy. But sounds like you and Timothy Leary had a personal thing going on there. So good stuff. Good night, and I am out of the air chair.
Harvey, you got a squeal in your deal.
Dang it, where's that WD-40?
I know it.
Alrighty, you sound great. Okay, I gotta get out of here. I'm too old for this stuff.
All right, Harvey. Good night.